is a caffeinated risk espresso shot with Michelle Finneran Dennedy.
We've gone through anonymizing data and things like that. And yet somehow it's able to be magically reconstituted to sell you shoes and a second lawnmower and all that.
Yeah.
When you're working with these dev teams, is there a particular type of personally identifiable data that's more toxic than some of the other stuff that we should be extra mindful of how it's being handled in the apps and the designs?
Yeah, it's such a good question, because typically in my deep dark past, when I worked most of my career in large enterprises, you're partnered up with a CISO. And if you're not lucky, your CISO says, there, dear, don't compete with me. I would like you to only concern your little cute brain with the specific elements of data that are regulated. And if you can't show me that regulation, I'm not going to do a damn thing about it. Which is
I wasn't that guy, right? I wasn't that
Tim
guy.
is not that guy. And I won't name any names, but there's a lot of that guys out there. And I always say it's kind of like having a blindfold and saying, pick out the green M&Ms. And the other part about law and policy, that kind of gets us back to where we started in this conversation of what are your requirements are. They are behind the times. Like,
Yes.
that law is about prior screw ups by somebody else.
Yeah.
So yes, it's kind of like AI. It's like AI does a wonderful job predicting the past.
Yes.
But law does a wonderful job predicting the past. But when you want to go forward, thing number one, if you only look for quote unquote compliance or that which is legally prohibited and you try to govern your way around that, you will fail. You will fail, because there is definitely a staffer of some congressperson or some premier somewhere drafting the next law that presupposes that you're going to try to get around that one, right? So that's a game. It's a waste of time to play that game. So that's thing number one. And you've not even thought for a moment about your user. So you've totally lost the plot.
Right.
Like, why are you in this organization? Why are you in this agency? So it's adorable that we're running around pretending we're really important with each other. And like, this is what I'm in charge of, and this is what you're in charge of. And we've just forgotten why we're here. So instead, what I like to say with those guys is like, first of all, don't play whack-a-mole with lawyers, because you're going to try to loophole them.
You're just going to lose, right?
You're going to waste your time, which is even worse than losing, is wasting your precious 100 years of DNA power on this planet. So I think when you're looking at what is really important law data, is so important to go back to those business requirements. So if you are running a daycare center, the name of that child and who is allowed and who is not allowed to take custody of that child at the end of the day is critical, mission critical, absolutely life or death data for probably 9 months out of the year. And then that child kind of goes off into Never Never Land, and suddenly that pile of information about the guardian, the child, their food allergies and fear of donkeys, it now is not that mission critical. So if you look at even every business data point has a lifespan, and unfortunately, it's not just get rid of the old stuff. And I will say, like, everyone with these big data lakes, like, you're sitting on a hoarder's house. You're not sitting on a gold mine.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It really is that storage locker they're going to have to sell on Storage Wars. Honest to God, that's what it's come down to, right? So
if you ever watch an episode of Hoarders, when you first get the beautiful little doll because you're on vacation and you love it and you bring it home and you're like, oh, look at my beautiful doll. Once you've got 100 of them and they're sitting in the shed and like rats are pooping all over them.
Yep.
They are not the beautiful little, don't even, even the coaches on these shows tell the hoarders, like, stop hoarding because you're now degrading value of your property. So treating data like it is a type that can be identified is a mistake. Treating data like it doesn't have a shelf life is a mistake. And then treating data as if all data has a shelf life that acts the same way is a mistake, because while there can be a rat shit baby, there also can be a relationship.
Thanks for listening to the latest podcast from Caffeinated Risk. And don't forget to subscribe to Caffeinated Risk on your favorite podcast service. This way, you'll be notified when we release our next podcast, and you can listen to our previous guests just in case you missed them. Thanks so much for listening to Caffeinated Risk.